9 silver needles lie quietly. Lu Fan picks them up one by one and observes them carefully. He suddenly understands their beauty. Every silver needle seems to have a kind of essence of vitality and surging. Good needle. Lu Fan is full of praise. Next to him came a head, a man of 60 or so with a slightly crooked face. What's the matter, uncle? Haha, I just have a look. Uncle said with no expression. In fact, his crooked face is equivalent to facial paralysis. Lu Fan suddenly showed a sly smile, picked up a needle to stab Uncle's face. What are you doing? The face slants big uncle to roar away, but dodge to be inferior to, pupil opens big. The next second, Lu Fan's hand turned into a remnant shadow, and the latter's Yongbai, Taiyong, Sibai, Ingxiang and other acupoints on his face were all punctured. Don't move. His face is crooked. Uncle only feels pain in his face and wants to struggle, but he is scolded coldly by Lu Fan. At the same time, he is imprisoned by Lu Fan's powerful hands. Lu Fan's sudden move caught people off guard. All the people present were shocked by him. Is this Chinese medicine crazy? I just took a look. As for stabbing me, the face is crooked, the uncle is still, but people are anxious to cry. He felt as if there were countless insects gnawing at his face, itching unbearably. But Lu Fan is looking at him face to face, with a smile in his mouth. Damn, Chiguoguo's mockery. Uncle, I can't bear it. Boy, what kind of doctor are you? You attacked me secretly. After that, he grabbed the needle on his face. However, Lu Fan took a step faster and saw his hand in front of his uncle's face. All the silver needles instantly returned to the wooden box. Uncle was startled again, and then he reacted and raised his hand to beat someone. Smelly boy, are you tired of living, or? He opened his mouth and swore, but raised his hand in the air and found something wrong. He touched his face, ran back to his bed, took out his mobile phone, and frowned at the camera for a long time. 1 second later, I'm fine, my face is fine. The voice of surprise resounded in the ward. The disease of crooked face was cured by Lu Fan in a short time, and it looks very relaxed. Miracle doctor, little brother, you are really a miracle doctor. Can you show it to me? No, show me first. I'm very sick. I have something I don't want here, doctor. Little brother, can diabetes be cured? Young man, cough, 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 cough. At this moment, the ward all boiling, with convenient legs and feet. The elders and mothers all came down and surrounded Lu Fan. They couldn't get out of bed and waved the baby in their hands to greet Lu Fan. Lu Fan has become a treasure in the eyes of everyone. Just now, the old man with white hair was so worried that he called out, "You old guys, I mentioned it first." This time, the radio in my master's hand really has the impulse to smash out at any time. When Chai Shui and Liang Xiaoqiu see this amazing turning point, they stare at Lu Fan, who is at a loss. Originally thought that Lu Fan took embroidery needle to cure grandma is amazing move. Did not expect the next moment. A few suddenly cured the doctor's headache of facial paralysis. Chai Shui is deeply puzzled. Is TCM really so powerful? While Liang Xiaoqiu's eyes are full of strange light, Lu Fan's image in her mind is bigger and more mysterious. Auntie and 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 auntie. You. Lu Fan says aloud. He feels his brain spoon seems to ache again. Lu Fan took a deep breath and looked at the people's colorful eyes. He was afraid that he could not stick to his physical strength. By the way, pills. He suddenly thought of the rest of the bodybuilding pills, touched his pocket, took out a snow-white sugar ball, and swallowed it directly. This time, he felt a warm current from his throat into the viscera, and he was full of energy. Aunt, do you often have a headache? Chills, heavy body pain, pale yellow complexion, and chest tightness? No problem. It can be cured. Uncle, you kidney deficiency. Acupuncture alone can't. I'll give you some medicine, yes. use this pen. Don't get angry, old man. It's strange that you can sleep well. Uh, Looking at Lu Fan's busy figure and rapid treatment efficiency, as well as the patient's obviously improved health, Chai Shui suddenly had a bad premonition. If Lu Fan is allowed to go on like this, is the hospital still open? Lu Fan, holding a box of 9 Yongxian needles, uses Fushi's 8 trigrams acupuncture and moxibustion. With the enthusiasm of the old people, he gradually becomes handy. Of course, this set of needling is not omnipotent. For example, an old man asked if he could recover his leg after 20 years of disability, and an old woman asked if she could relive the beauty of that year. In this regard, Lu Fan did not speak with a smile and quietly pushed back all the precious bracelets and rings they handed back. In fact, it's not surprising that patients put forward such wonderful demands. After all, Lu Fan's medical skills are almost divine. There are 8 patients in this ward. At least 6 of them are cured by Lu Fan. The pain is obviously alleviated, and several of them are cured directly. Mr. Lu, may I take a video? Your acupuncture is really amazing. Chai Shui Incarnation Small Fan Younger Sister. Ray's mobile phone excited way. Lu Fan frowned slightly. He didn't want to be famous, but when he saw Chai Shui's adoring eyes, his heart suddenly drifted, and then he said, "Yes, but don't photograph my face. My face is very precious." Would Snow Smell speech of face happy, repeatedly nod. Under the camera, a pair of magic hands are bringing good news to patients. During this period, Liang Xiaoqiu also acted as Lu Fan's temporary assistant. 10 minutes after Grandma's cerebral hemorrhage was cured, the door suddenly came the sound of disorderly and fast footsteps. And then the door of the ward was rushed open. "Where are the people? Come on, push on." A male doctor with a mask roared, and several nurses behind him rushed in with an operation cart. That momentum, that tense state of mind, as if a hurricane swept. Next second, the bustling ward suddenly quieted down. All the people in the ward turned and looked at the intruders. People cast surprise, doubt, helplessness, disgust, and other eyes. And it's more about complaining. Then everyone began to continue the state of just now. The male doctor, wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, sweeps everyone's eyes one by one. Finally, his eyes fall on Chai Shui, who is taking photos. At this time, the smile on Chai Shui's face has not yet converged. Although he is confused, he is still calm. "Nurse Chai, what are you doing? What about the patients?" The male doctor asked quietly, but there was a kind of anger brewing in his voice. Chai Shui saw him, quickly put away his mobile phone, trotted over, and said with a smile, "Dr. Ko, the patient has been cured." Dr. Ko looked suspicious and surprised. "Do you mean the patient has been cured? Which patient? Who cure?" "I remember the phone said, but sudden cerebral hemorrhage. Just a few minutes is not enough for an operation." Chai Shui pointed to the old woman who had fallen asleep on one side and said seriously, "This patient had cerebral hemorrhage, but he was cured by Mr. Lu Fan." Then she pointed to Lu Fan, who was the last one to see a doctor. All of a sudden, Dr. Ko and the nurses were confused. The old woman slept peacefully, even had a slight snore, which was like a patient with cerebral hemorrhage, while Chai Shui pointed out that the healer was a young man with a bandage on the back of her head. "Haha, Nurse Chai, do you feel bored at night?" Dr. Ko took off his mask and showed a face of about 30 years old. He looked gentle, but now he was full of anger and anger in his eyes. Chai nursed out, not clear so. Why don't you make it up like a little bit? It's just because I killed you at noon that you teased me. So much for such a lame reason." Dr. Ko suddenly roared and scared Nurse Chai to shrink up. Chai Shui faltered and said, "Dr. Ko, what you are saying is true. I don't believe you asked them." She pointed to the person behind her. The roar of Dr. Ko was naturally heard by others. For a moment, people in the ward looked at him with strange eyes. However, Dr. Ko, who is angry, has decided that Chai Shui is cheating herself and doesn't look at it at all. At this time, Lu Fan couldn't be distracted because he focused on acupuncture. Well, Nurse Chai, you're still quibbling." Dr. Ko was so angry that he laughed and looked at Chai Shui colder and colder. And the nurses behind him were furious. "Chai Shui, look what time it is. Dr. Ko has been working overtime for 3 days in a row. It's not easy to have a rest, but you do it because of personal grievances. It's so mean. No, You're a disgrace to the nurse. It's Chai Shui. How can you do that? The nurses complained one after another, and the look in Chai Shui's eyes was full of bitterness. Chai Shui was reprimanded by these people for no reason. Her eyes turned red. In all kinds of ways, Chu came to her heart. Dr. Ko, how can you say that about me? I really didn't lie. Her voice was already weeping. You still cry? You think it's okay to cry? You are wasting hospital resources in vain by doing so. Do you know that you can bear the responsibility? You. Ko looks cold and stern. At this time to see Chai Shui more disgusted. Said, I see you don't use to work tomorrow. Then I will turn around and leave. Chai Shui was stunned, and her tears were streaming down. She finally entered the second municipal people's hospital. Dr. Ko's words almost denied her future. I said, this doctor surnamed Ko is too much. Just then, a voice suddenly rang out, and Dr. Ko's steps suddenly stopped. He slowly looked back. His eyes passed through Chai Shui, and he was stunned. It was Chai Shui who referred to the young man just now. Who are you? Dr. Ko glanced at Lu Fan casually. His eyes were arrogant, as if he were looking at a little man. Lu Fan sneered and took a look at Dr. Ko's work number plate. Lu Fan, Ko Iching, Dr. Ko. I can testify for Nurse Chai. What she said is true. Lu Fan said quietly. Chai Shui looks at Lu Fan gratefully. Ko Iching raised his eyebrows and said with a strange smile, do you testify? Do you want to tell me that sudden cerebral hemorrhage is true and you cured it? Yes, Lu Fan frowned. He looked at the disgusting face in front of him and felt an impulse to beat him. Ko Iching looked at Lu Fan carefully and suddenly saw the wooden box in his hand. The box had not been closed, and the 9 silver needles were very obvious. He pretended to be surprised and asked, are you cured with acupuncture? That's right. Lu Fan nodded his head seriously again and looked at Ko Iching coldly. Ha ha ha. Ko Iching suddenly laughed, as if he had heard some funny jokes. Several other nurses laughed as well. Acupuncture for cerebral hemorrhage. Are you stupid? Ha ha ha. It's nonsense, Chai Shui. Is this the trust you're looking for? It's so funny. Lu Fan and Chai Shui look at each other. The former is helpless, but the latter is very helpless. Lu Fan, speechless, shakes his head and sighs. Why didn't anyone believe it? I can't blame others for this. I blame myself for being too strong. The world can't appreciate his height. Alas. Xiao Ko. All of a sudden, a voice with a little sense of the vicissitudes came into Ko Iching's ears. Ko Iching let out a sound and looked over. This time, it was the cerebral hemorrhage. Patient just now. Ko Iching showed great respect for the old man in the ward and immediately ran to hold the old man's hand. Old man, you wake up, you know, just now someone said you had cerebral hemorrhage. The old woman glared and asked seriously, Xiaoko, are you worried about lard? Ko Iching's smile froze on his face. What? He asked subconsciously, feeling that there was something wrong with Grandma's eyes. The old woman took a deep breath. Just as she was about to vent, Lu Fan stepped forward and patted the old man on the back. Grandma, don't get excited. After hearing Lu Fan's admonition, Granny's full of anger immediately dispelled a lot. Holding Lu Fan's wrist, she said to Ko Iching one word at a time. Xiao Ko, they can't prove it. I can't prove it. Just now I did have cerebral hemorrhage and I was in a coma. But when I woke up, I only saw Xiao Lu. He was the one who cured me. He was a miracle doctor. The old woman said and got excited again. Ko Iching was stunned. If Lu Fan and Chai Shui said it was false, the patient would not follow suit. And me, my facial paralysis is also cured by Lu Shun. And my headache, Dr. Lu pricked a few needles, all cured. So is my kidney. Ko Iching turned around. And all the 7 or 8 patients around him were staring at him coldly and speaking enthusiastically. Just now those nurses were blinded. What's the matter? It's your medical style to blame others at will before you know what's going on. Nurse Chai was the first to find out that the old man was ill. She did everything that the nurse could do. But you came only 10 minutes later. If it wasn't for my boss, I'm afraid the old man would be very lucky. Liang Xiaoqiu, who has been silent all of a sudden, says that he calls Lu Fan boss with righteous words, which makes Lu Fan look at him differently. That's to say, your hospital's medical expenses are very expensive, but there is no one at the critical moment. How can we continue to believe in the hospital? Lao Zhantu is right. In a short period of time, Dr. Xiao Lu made us recover almost without any money. In order to give us face, he only took some unimportant things. This is to serve the people with integrity. I'll be out of the hospital tomorrow. I can't stay here. If the voices of the masses and complaints gather together, the energy is unimaginable. At this time, Ko Iching turned pale and realized that he really did something wrong and said something wrong. The whole ward was on the side of this young man named Lu Fan. Even if he didn't see Lu Fan's medical skills, he had to believe that Lu Fan really had such skills. In addition, in this era, the contradiction between doctors and patients is the most prominent. Leaders often emphasize that this kind of thing should be avoided in meetings. Ko Iching can't afford the consequence of provoking public anger. Now, he has to do something to stabilize the situation. Old man, ladies and gentlemen, it's all my fault. It's my preconceived idea. I'd like to say sorry to you. The old woman suddenly smashed a pillow and said angrily, I'm sorry. Who do you want to apologize to? What you should apologize for is Nurse Chai and Dr. Lu. Ko Iching, with a bitter face, nodded and looked at Chai Shui. He said with a bitter smile, I'm sorry, Nurse Chai. It's my fault. I shouldn't say that to you. He looked at Lu Fan again, although he still didn't believe in Lu Fan's medical skills. Due to the situation, he could only nod his head gently. I'm sorry. Lu Fan light smile, heart no waves, no sincerity apology. And you have been criticizing Nurse Chai all the time. Why is it silent now? Liang Xiaoqiu looked at the nurses at the door again and had a kind of attitude towards life. These nurses immediately silent. Each looked unnatural. The mouth said sorry, but the voice as thin as a mosquito. Well, I don't need you to thank me. Just don't trouble Nurse Chai afterwards. Lu Fan hummed coldly, put away the wooden box, turned around, picked up the woven bag, and went out. Woven bags are actually old things that are not rare to the old people. Ko Iching didn't dare to stop him when he saw it, so he let Lu Fan go out. Dr. Lu, don't worry. Nurse Chai, I'll watch. If they dare to let Nurse Chai be wronged again, I'll see how noisy I am. The old woman who woke up patted her chest and assured. Lu Fan nodded and looked at Chai Shui, but the latter turned tears into laughter. Ko Iching and the nurses all looked ugly. Nurse Chai, you can't forget what you said. Let's go. Lu Fan pointed to his woven bag and said with a smile. Chai Shui chuckled and nodded. I know. Liang Xiaoqiu also sighed, but she really convinced Lu Fan. Is garbage really that important to him? Environmental ambassadors don't pay as much attention to garbage as they do. Lu Fan bid farewell to several old people and walked out of the ward under the hot eyes. Lu Fan's injury on the back of his head has basically recovered with the help of Changshan Jinggu pills, and the stitches will be removed in a few days. The three went to a corner of the hospital downstairs. Black plastic bags are full of domestic waste, which can be collected. Don't touch the rest. Chai Shui told me. Lu Fan made an okay gesture. Gloves, masks, all wear. Immediately began to pick up waste. That professional posture. The head does not return to the accurate head. Skilled do not want. Ding, if the host finds a piece of watermelon skin, 10,000 yuan will be awarded. Ding, if the host finds a dead cockroach, 50,000 yuan will be awarded. Ding, if the host finds a piece of toilet paper stained with saliva, 1,000 yuan will be awarded. Ding, just in the blink of an eye. The 1-meter-high black plastic bag dustbin was half empty. Chai Shui and Liang Xiaoqiu were stunned and even a little bit sour. They found that they could not respond to the speed of Lu Fan's identity change. How can a miracle doctor be interested in picking up rubbish? What's more, can it really be an interest? Two people look at each other, don't know what to say. Finally, very tacit understanding in the side dry looking. Liang Xiaoqiu said in secret that he didn't know whether it was a blessing or a curse for such a boss. 10 minutes later, Lu Fan emptied all valuable things and stood up contentedly. He twisted his wrists and carried the woven bag over his shoulder, as if he were exerting himself. Liang Xiaoqiu and Chai Shui are worried that Lu Fan's small shoulder will be crushed. However, how can they know that there is space in the woven bag and there is little weight? Thank you. I'll go first then. Lu Fan said to Chai Shui with a smile. May I leave your contact information, Dr. Lu? Chai Shui said with courage. Lu Fan has such magical medical skills. If the one at home knows it, he will not be happy. So she thought about it and asked. No problem. Lu Fan readily agreed. 157. Liang Xiaoqiu also quickly took out his mobile phone and remarked. the big boss of garbage collection. Unexpectedly, he was swept by Lu Fan. He seriously explained, "I'm not picking up garbage. It's my interest. You should understand." "Yes, boss, you pick up rubbish to cultivate your sentiment, don't you?" Liang Xiaoqiu said, and Chai Shui covered his mouth and said with a smile. After saying goodbye to Chai Shui, Lu Fan and Liang Xiaoqiu walk out of the Second Municipal People's Hospital. It's already more than 10 p.m. "Have you seen my bike?" Lu Fan was taken to the hospital by Liang Xiaoqiu after dizziness. "And the bicycle should still be near Shishan Noodle Shop." "Boss, do you mean the junk bike? Let's take a taxi to get it back." Every time Liang Xiaoqiu talks about picking up garbage, he is holding a smile. Lu Fan has no choice but to take Ferrari out of the woven bag face to face. Hiss. A taxi stops. The door opens and a girl in a work uniform walks out. "Brother Fan." It was He Xiaojia who came. "Xiaojia, you're really here." Lu Fan looked at He Xiaojia worried, some surprised. He Xiaojia looked at Lu Fan's head carefully and asked, "Brother Fan, how are you? Are you serious?" Lu Fan shook his head and said, "It's okay. It's just a knock. It'll be fine in a few days." He Xiaojia let go and took out a bunch of keys from the bag and handed them to Lu Fan. "Brother Fan, here is the key to your house. 1110. Unit 3, Building 6. Fully GUN Community. Mr. Yu has bought all the furniture for you and can live in directly." He Xiaojia said with a smile. "Does you have a front?" Lu Fan murmured that Yu Qian was very interesting. He helped him at the beginning, but he did it easily. How could he go to let the other party repay him? "Thank you, Xiaojia. I'll treat you to dinner some other day." Lu Fan sincerely thanks Wei. See He Xiaojia a face-tired appearance. Must have waited for him for a long time. He Xiaojia took a look at Liang Xiaoqiu behind Lu Fan, then nodded and said, "Brother Fan, then I'm looking forward to it." Shortly after He Xiaojia left, Lu Fan and Liang Xiaoqiu also took a bus to Shishan Noodle Shop. "Boss, our noodle shop also has a lot of rubbish. Would you like to join us?" Before leaving, Liang Xiaoqiu asked, full of banter. Lu Fan straddled the bicycle with a dazed look. He was overjoyed and said, "Yes, of course. Keep them for me. I'll pick them up tomorrow." Liang Xiaoqiu, speechless, looked at the back of the street. That disappeared in the twinkling of an eye. His heart was full of melancholy. Back to the original residence, Lu Fan was so tired that he fell asleep all night long. The next day, he woke up from his dream and simply packed up. "I'm moving today." "What? Lu Fan, you really want to move? How can you move?" The landlord, Hu Jiaojiao, was reluctant to part with her. Lu Fan was not angry and pulled her unruly hand off her shoulder. She looked disgusted and said, "Do you still need your consent to move?" Hu Jiaojiao said, I didn't drive you away. You don't have to go so fast. And you have lived in this place for several years. Don't you have any feelings?" Since she saw Lu Fan's diamond card, she always wanted to find a chance to get close to Lu Fan. But this guy was away all day long. Now Lu Fan wants to leave. She is a little unwilling. Half of the body is close to Lu Fan, heart. "The meaning of my mother is so obvious. See, you still don't buy it? Well, I'm a little reluctant to say that." With a sigh, Lu Fan stepped back to avoid Hu Jiaojiao, but her face was happy. The next moment, the words suddenly turn. "For the sake of years of love, I don't want that deposit." Then he went out with big and small bags. Hu Jiaojiao scolded behind. "Deposit and fart deposit. I'll pay water and electricity fee for you." Lu Fan didn't seem to hear him. He stepped on his bicycle and ran away. Lu Fan pedal bicycle. It is lightning with sparks all the way. 10 miles to the distance of 10 minutes. Standing in front of the Fully GUN community. Looking at the buildings, my heart was filled with pride. Labor and capital have finally come up with a flat. What kind of bullshit housing loan can't taint the youth of labor and capital? He pushed his bicycle to the gate of the community. Before we got close, 5 or 6 security guards in the community saw Lu Fan from a distance. The front bar, the back seat, and the garbage can are hung on both sides. At first glance, it's a gorgeous garbage collector. "Stop, you can't go in." The security guard in black uniform stopped Lu Fan's way like an iron tower. Lu Fan looked at him. He was a stocky-looking and strong-chested brother. He was staring at him. "I'm the owner here. Let me in." Lu Fan pointed to the front and explained. Before the little brother said anything, the middle-aged security guards in the back were happy first. "Did you hear that? The boy said he was the owner here. Ha ha ha. Boy, this bike is very chic. Did you get it from the countryside? Brother Sien, don't make trouble. The country doesn't carry this pot. This boy has come across it. Ha ha ha. Several security guards laugh so that their front chest is close to their back. The little security guard brother in front of them makes his face muscles tremble. But Lung is to hold back. At first glance, he is a person with strong expression management ability. Lu Fan sighed secretly. He really didn't want to pretend to be forced. But why did he always provoke him? How about pretending to be very tired? He decided to continue with patience. I'm really the owner here. I'm new here. You see, I still have the key. He took out the key and shook it. However, my little brother couldn't turn his eyes. Let's go. It's a high-end community. The average standard configuration is famous cars. It's clean, and there's no garbage to pick up. In a word, the security brother vetoed Lu Fan's dress. Brother, you'd better go. I don't want to hit people. What can't you pick up? You have to pick up your fist. Get out of here. Lu Fan's face is gloomy. These security guards don't even give themselves the chance to prove it. It's too deceiving. But at this time, a whistle suddenly sounded. Lu Fan looked around, but it was a C-Class Mercedes-Benz. The window rolled down. He was a young man with curly yellow hair, wearing sunglasses, and he didn't know what to chew. Who is this man? He asked indifferently. When the security guards around him saw him, they immediately became respectful, except the little brother who stopped Lu Fan. Oh, it's Brother Shaoan. It's nothing. It's just a garbage collector who has to come into our community and says he's the owner here. One of the guards said with a smile. The yellow-haired man glanced at Lu Fan curiously, then sneered. Picking up garbage? Garbage collectors also want to come in, haha. Lu Fan stopped his bike and asked seriously, please tell me what kind of people are qualified to go in. See, the yellow-haired man pointed to his car and said proudly, more than 500,000 cars are small things here. If you were to pick up garbage, you would have to pick it up for more than 10 years. Poor man, the life of a superior society is beyond your imagination. That's right, Brother Shaoan is right. Garbage collectors don't deserve to be here. Go, go, go. They point at Lu Fan and urge him to leave. Get out of here. At first, Lu Fan's brother obviously didn't deal with these people around him, but he advised Lu Fan to leave quickly. Lu Fan sighed slightly, and the yellow-haired man and the crowd in front of him said, remember what you just said? If it's a man, just wait for me here for 5 minutes. 5 minutes? The security guard and the man with yellow hair all burst out laughing. Boy, let me wait for you for 5 minutes? Who do you think you are? Do you know how precious my time is as a popular star? The yellow-haired man sneered and said he was going to lift the window and leave. Lu Fan stepped forward and asked, what's your name? You haven't heard of me? You tell him. The yellow-haired man's bossy eyes indicate security. Boy, this is the famous dragon Shaoan. Brother Shaoan, known as Little White Dragon in entertainment circle, is our brother Shaoan. One of the security guards is making an introduction. Long Shaoan Chin Hai, very cooperate with the throw bang. Oh, Lu Fan has a long voice. Long Shaoan raised his mouth and shrugged his ears, expecting a tramp's praise. Never heard of it. Lu Fan continued, looking strange. Long Shaoan's face suddenly darkened, and he scolded. Roll, 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 roll. Roll, 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 roll. Roll, 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 roll. Lu Fan looked at each other pitifully, parked his bicycle directly in front of the Mercedes-Benz, and said, wait here, I'll be back in a moment. After that, regardless of the surprised eyes of Long Shaoan and the security guards, they turned and walked to another street. I have never seen such a horizontal. A garbage collector with a broken bicycle dare to stop my car. Long Shaoan's anger was suddenly ignited. He got out of the car and kicked the bicycle out of touch with the times. Bang! Long Shaoan suddenly screamed and felt as if he had kicked an iron plate. As a result, he fell to the ground, covering the soles of his feet and crying out for pain. He looked up in surprise. The black bike was so strong that it seemed to laugh at him in silence. This special is a broken car. Move it for me. Long Shaoan can't believe that he can't even kick a bicycle. Next to several security mouth repeatedly should and. But in the heart is in the belly Fei. Also Big Star, the whole week chicken. During the conversation, one of the guards tried to push the bike away. However, this push did not push. Why this car? He was puzzled in his heart, but he didn't move again. Lao Chin, what's the matter with you? The security guard next to him wondered, isn't it just a bicycle? All day long acting? The security guard surnamed Chin grinned bitterly. This car, it's not right. The rest of the guards sneered. What's so strange about bicycles? They all gathered around, moving or pushing bicycles one by one. And they were all shocked. The bicycle seems to have taken root. No one can move it. Weird. This car is weird. The security guards were in a state of uncertainty. This car is not normal. What's the matter with you? Can't you move a broken car? Long Shaoan had been back in the car for a long time. After watching the security guard move the car for a long time, he finally couldn't help shouting. Just then, a whistle sounded in the rear. At first, the security guard who stopped Lu Fan immediately ran over. This is a Ferrari. Although it's very strange, it can't be offended. Slowly pulled down the window. Hello, sir. Security brother is about to explain what happened in front of the door, but suddenly stunned. How does this smiling face look so familiar? You know you, it's you. Security brother's face changed again and again. He didn't expect a garbage collector to drive a Ferrari. This is not a trick. He gave a wry smile. The gap of this person's identity change is too big. He is a normal person and can't react. He tried to adjust his breath and finally showed his respect. Lu Fan looked at him seriously, took out the car key, shook it, and asked, "Can I go in now?" "Sorry, sir. I have eyes and don't know Taishan. Please forgive me," the security brother said with apology. With a sneer, Lu Fan jumped out of the car door and walked forward. "I wipe, you bunch of rubbish." "No, not even rubbish." Long Shaoan is furious in the car, but he has a little leisure time. Several security guards looked at each other, and no one would feel comfortable if they scolded each other like this. "Get out of the way, I don't believe it." Long Shaoan let the security guard get out of the way, and then started the car to retreat, intending to drive down the roadblock. Bang! When his car suddenly hit something, Long Shaoan reacted and quickly turned off the engine. He looked through the rear mirror and found that there was a pure white sports car behind his car. Ferrari. Long Xiao's face changed when he settled down, and he had an ominous premonition in his heart. "I don't think it's scratched." Ding, ding, ding. There was a knock on the window. He turned his head slowly and saw a cold face staring at him. Frown or wrinkly, disgust away. "Die to pick up rubbish of. How is you again? Quickly move your rotten car." Lu Fan took a deep breath and said slowly, "You hit my car." "Bah." Long Shaoan spat out and scolded bitterly. "Did you hit your broken car? You don't want to see how expensive my car is. I tell you, boy, if my car has a little scratch, you can't afford to pick up garbage all your life." Several security guards nearby looked on coldly, with a look of watching. Only just that little brother of the security guard side. He seemed to have seen someone being beaten in the face. "Not this one. I'm talking about that one." Lu Fan pointed to Ferrari with a smile on his face and said word by word, "According to you, should you also compensate me?" Long Shaoan was confused. His head suddenly leaned out of the window and looked to the rear. Then he looked at Lu Fan and repeated it twice. "You mean that car is yours? Are you kidding, a garbage collector?" Long Shaoan doesn't believe Lu Fan at all. Lu Fan sighed, pretending to be forced, and pressed the car key in his hand. "Didi." The sound of the car flute strongly confirms Lu Fan's words. "What?" When Long Shaoan saw this scene, he was struck by lightning. Several security guards in front of Mercedes-Benz were even more shocked. One of them stepped on the front bar of the bicycle and pulled back his leg carefully. At this moment, people's normal cognition was shattered. "Didi." Lu Fan deliberately pressed a few times, as if slapped on his face one by one in the eyes of the public. Loud. "You, aren't you a garbage collector?" Long Shaoan Gulu swallowed his saliva and came out of the car. In the face of Lu Fan, his arrogance dissipated completely. "Picking up trash? Who told you I was a garbage collector? Did I say that?" Lu Fan glared and said, "I'm sitting on 10 billion yuan. I'm proud of my life. Can't I pick up a piece of garbage and cultivate my sentiment? I'm too lazy to talk to you. If I hit my car, I'll pay 2 million for it." Two million. Why don't you grab it?" Long Shaoan was so surprised that he broke back with a face of doubt. After a careful look, the front cover of Ferrari was sunken. But to be honest, the damage is not great. The other security guards also look stiff. This person's mouth is 2 million. Okay, cruel. How many years do they have to work to earn? 2 million is too much? Lu Fan sneered. You don't see how valuable my car is. Long Xiaoan is so familiar with this. Isn't that what he just said? Found it. The security brother who has been watching the play suddenly yells, takes out his mobile phone, and looks at Long Xiaoan in shock. Long Xiaoan looks a little flustered, but still took the phone. Ferrari Lafeur, price. Long Xiaoan took a breath and faltered. More than 20 million. All his wealth is only a few million. In fact, Long Xiaoan is just a third-tier star. How about 2 million? Lu Fan smile. As if to see the lamb's wolf. White teeth show. Long Xiaoan heart only feel pull cool. It's up to the public to decide for themselves. But I think it will be more if it's up to the public. Besides, there's surveillance. Don't try to cheat. Besides, aren't you a star? If you want to go on the hot search, I don't mind helping you. Lu Fan is determined to eat Long Xiaoan. When Long Xiaoan heard the speech, his face was as gray as dust. Lu Fan's words made all his fluke disappear. It's normal to lose 2 million for a Ferrari crash. And it's a normal Ferrari. But this is the most expensive Ferrari in the world. Here, password 22. Shaking hands to take out a card. Long Xiaoan heart dripping blood. 2 million for him is not a small number. It doesn't matter. I'll just take a few more announcements. He comforted himself silently in his heart, but his mind was still hard to calm. After confirming the balance, Lu Fan gave a satisfied smile, patted Long Xiaoan on the shoulder, and said, Comrade Xiaoan is very cheerful. In the future, we will be a community, that is, neighbors. We must be friendly. Long Xiaoan's face was trembling. He was angry, but he said with a dry smile, Okay, then we'll make peace with Chi. Lu Fan smiles, then looks at the other security guards, and his face pulls down. Go, get out of the way. I don't respect my car at all. Several security guards scattered like mice meeting cats. This is mainly a chameleon. Its face changes too fast. What's more than 20 million cars can afford to drive, which shows its wealth. What surprised them even more was that Lu Fan went to the strange bicycle and picked it up easily. Well, is the car still owned? I don't know if it's the end of the world. I feel cool behind. It's weird. The security guards looked at Lu Fan as if they were looking at God and man. When Ferrari's rear compartment opened, Lu Fan's car was humped by Ferrari. Big star, still don't go, still want to hit again? Lu Fan called at the back. Long Xiaoan was so scared that he quickly got into the car and drove into the community. So, under the gaze of all the security guards, a proud Ferrari carries a strange bicycle to the community. Facing the bicycle, the handlebar was crooked and rushed to the security guards. I said, the security guard surnamed Chin said, Do you feel that the car seems to be looking at us? Go away. I'm scared to death. Lu Fan's new home can be said to be extremely gorgeous. Complete furniture and facilities. There is a new classical style. From simple to complex, from the whole to the part. Exquisite, inlaid gold is impressive. Through the window, the view is broad. In a word, Lu Fan is very satisfied. Sitting on the soft sofa, Lu Fan turned on his mobile phone and looked at the balance. It was already 99.93 million yuan. It can be said that if he just picked up a gadget now, it would be over 100 million yuan. It's not a dream. I'm going to be a billionaire. Lu Fanla laughed at himself. Bayou. WeChat has new people to add friends. Lu Fan has a look. Is a person called Snow Sleep. Looking at the verification message, the great doctor worshipper. Lu Fan grinned as if he knew who it was. After agreeing, the other party sent a message in less than 1 second. Shuesu. Dr. Lu. Guess who I am? Cute cat's expression. Snail takes me for a walk. Chime in hears dog barking. And comes home on a snowy night. Wang Sai's expression. Snail takes me for a walk is Lu Fan's internet nickname. At the beginning, as a code farmer, what he wanted most was ease. Shuesu. The great doctor has a good literary talent. My name comes from this poem. Cat's eyes are wide open, mouth is open. Snail takes me for a walk. Ordinary, panda people smile. Shuesu. Great doctor. Thank you so much last night. You don't know, you are a celebrity of our second hospital now. Cat looks up and worships. Snail takes me for a walk. Black question mark face. Shuesu. 5 old people in that ward have gone through the discharge procedures this morning, and the doctor has checked them, and they don't need to be hospitalized at all. All this can be attributed to the divine doctor. Snail takes me for a walk. Thank you. Thank you. Department of Neurology, 2nd Municipal Hospital. Warm sunshine through the glass. Poured on the tired angel in white, although busy all morning. But at this time she is still very excited. Because of the relationship between Lu Fan and the old people he cared for. Dr. Ko and other nurses had a good attitude towards him. Just now, he took the first step and made friends with the young doctor. She is more curious about Lu Fan. It's hard to imagine that. Lu Fan is not much bigger than herself and has such superb medical skills. Looking at Lu Fan's circle of friends, it's all about the sharing of CSDN forum. All kinds of professional knowledge makes her resist instinctively. Is Lu Fan still a programmer? Suddenly, Chai Shue's eyes were dark. Guess who I am? The witty voice sounded in Chai Shue's ear. Chai Shue broke away and covered her eyes with her hands. She didn't turn her head back and said with a smile, Xiaoyu, don't make trouble. She slowly turned to see. What came into her eyes was a girl with a nurse's hat. A little fat but white face. With a smile, 2 pair vortices appeared. Wang Yu turned her lips and hummed. It's boring. Chai Shue shakes her head in an old-fashioned way. But her fingers inadvertently want to close WeChat. But Wang Yu's eyes are sharp. And suddenly grabs her mobile phone. What are you looking at, Sneaky? As your best friend? I doubt you have a situation. Wang Yu said with a meaningful smile and glanced at the WeChat page. Snail takes me for a walk. Who is that? It's such a name. Wang Yu made complaints about it. At this time, someone in Fuli Jiyuan community sneezed for no reason. Oh, here it is. Chai Shue said impatiently. Wang Yu held up her mobile phone and hummed. Tell me who it is. Little girl, and dare to hide it from me. If you don't tell me, I'll send him a message immediately, saying you like him. Chai Shue was speechless, but said, well, he is. What? Wang Yu's voice is so high that Chai Shue stares at her. My God, you mean is he the miracle doctor who let the devil sweep his face and cure the sudden cerebral hemorrhage? Wang Yu's eyes are full of little stars. Chai Shue nodded in a complicated mood, as if she had seen her original self. Such a powerful god. Why didn't I be here yesterday? Wang Yu feels very regretful, and then stares at Chai Shue and says, Xiao Shue, tell me about you. Why didn't you record a video of such a big thing? Chai Shue looked innocent and faltered. Who said I didn't record it? Wang Yu's eyes suddenly looked like, did you really record it? Come on, pass it to me. Chai Shue opens her mouth and wants to refuse. But seeing Wang Yu's real eyes, she swallows her words again. She sent out the video almost half-forced. I only give you one person. Dr. Lu doesn't want his face to be seen by others. Otherwise I will suffer. Chai Shue told me. No problem. Wang Yu perfunctorily played an okay posture, then held the mobile phone to rush away. Chai Shue has no confidence in Wang Yu's assurance. What is the nickname of her best friend? Wang de Trumpet. If you put her in a small village, you basically don't need a radio station. 5 minutes later, just as Chai Shue was going to the ward, a group message popped up on WeChat. Chai Shue has a bad feeling in her heart. After buffering the vortex, a 50-second video appears. In the video, only a pair of white and slender hands holding a slender silver needle are used on the patient, and the technique is elusive. The faces of the patient and the acupuncturist were deliberately cut off, and more than one patient was given the needle. At last, a line was added. All the people who were given the needle have recovered. The event is true. The person who uploaded the video is a person called Sweet Corn, which is Wang Yu's nickname. Chai Shue was stunned at first, and then slightly annoyed. Xiaoyu is really unreliable. Fortunately, Wang Yu didn't expose Lu Fan's appearance. Snow, come here. Anxious voice in the call. Chai Shue also too late to think. Put down the mobile phone to busy. The effects of video are just beginning. Heart lazy. Is this true or false? The wind kisses me. Is that the miracle doctor last night? Big face sister with long hair. This acupuncture moxibustion method hiss. I don't understand. 5-package hot strip. But the old people in 620 ward are all discharged ahead of time. This can't be fake. The neurology group of the 2nd Municipal Hospital began a heated discussion on this issue. Sweet Corn, is it true or false? Just ask the person concerned. Lazy heart at Shuesu. Lazy heart at Dr. Ko. The crowd fell into silence. 2 minutes later, Dr. Ko at Lazy heart at Sweet Corn, you come to my office. Wang Yu and a nurse stealing snacks were stunned. Heart lazy. Dr. Ko. I'm wrong. panicked face. Sweet corn, why is it 2 minutes? Can't be withdrawn, crying face and bad face. Other people have no voice. If you are targeted by the Demon King, you can only hope for your own happiness. Ko-iching looks at the videos and news in the group, and his face is gradually gloomy. Why did it remind him of the guy who made him look bad last night? He didn't believe in the medical skills Lu Fan showed. As a returnee, he believes that Western medicine is more universal than traditional Chinese medicine. In his opinion, those patients last night were probably bewitched by Lu Fan. It's just a liar. Can you cheat others? Can you cheat me? Ko-iching sneers. Suddenly, he opens his microblog and uploads his little video. Title: Liar or Doctor. This title is very instructive. As a microblog Big V, Ko-iching's video soon got a lot of attention and discussion. Little fool, big fool. Finally hope to water greatly updated. What's in the video, acupuncture? Qing Shui replied. Guess for yourself? Weird smile. Cabbage has no heart, but does not know love. Damn. Acupuncture cures cerebral hemorrhage. The world is crazy. The slut came back. Why didn't you take a picture of your face? It's against medical common sense. Lame swimming. Top up. It must be a liar. Clear water, bad intentions. It's true that my father was cured by him. And the miracle doctor in the video cured 6 or 7 patients in one night. Only using acupuncture and moxibustion, he said. Xiaojinbian people are also a microblog Big V. More influence and credibility. Immediately attracted more topics. If the video is true, then the person in the video can really be called a miracle doctor. From around 10 a.m., this video has been wildly spread, with hundreds of millions of views in just 2 hours, ranking first in microblog hot list. But the person in the video is dreaming in his new home and knows nothing about the outside world. Lu Fan's new home has brought him a full feeling. This night, he had many beautiful dreams about life, family, and future. It was not until 12 noon that Lu Fan woke up. When I fell asleep, I was stunned again. He got dirty again. Needless to say, it is also the effect of body strengthening and body shaping pills. This also shows that there are many impurities in his body. After washing and gargling, the whole person is refreshed and full of essence. Today, I'm going to be a billionaire. Are you angry? Lu Fan smiles at himself in the mirror, and then puts on a simple white t-shirt, black short, and a pair of slightly gray shoes to prepare for a new day's struggle. He transferred 500,000 yuan to his mother's account. I'm afraid that his mother might be suspicious. Maybe he thought he robbed the bank. Sure enough, within 3 minutes, my mother's call came. Hello, son. Did you just transfer money to me? My mother's voice was a little rapid. Lu Fan said with a smile, Mom, it's me. I've made millions recently. You spend it first to improve the quality of life for Xiaodai. Xiaodai is her own sister. She just finished the college entrance examination recently. Son, what kind of business do you do? You can make money like this. Don't you do anything illegal? At the end, my mother's voice was trembling. When Lu Fan was speechless, he knew that his mother was suspicious of being seriously ill. Don't worry, Ma. The money is just in time. I'm buying a house now. Look, when will Xiaodai and I move here? He wanted to make his mother happy. Really, son? My son is really promising. But my mother lives very well in the countryside and doesn't want to move. Let's see Xiaodai. She applied for Linhai University. If she gets in, my mother will go to my son with your sister. Mother happily said, tone is all proud. Brother, I miss you so much. When will I come back? There comes a clear voice from the mobile phone. It's Xiaodai. Lu Fan's mouth turned upward and said with a smile, Little butterfly, I'll go back in a few days. Did I listen to my mother's words at home? And how did I do in the exam? Xiaodai snorted. Of course, I told you. I played well in the college entrance examination. Linhai University did not run. Well, in order to reward you, say what you want, I'll buy it for you. Lu Fanchong said. Really? I want a lot of snacks and clothes. The conversation lasted half an hour. Lu Fan picked up the woven bag and walked out the door. Just then, the door of the opposite neighbor opened. Wearing a white coat with a little purple, the next dress is a long lavender skirt. Skirt swaying, vaguely visible white, slender legs. Black hair hanging at the waist. Slightly pursed thin lips like cherry blossom. White with pink crystal earrings, so elegant and quiet. Looking at the woven bag of Lu Fan suddenly stunned. This girl, how so familiar. But opposite that girl sees Lu Fan. The mouse sun also exudes the extraordinary color. Two people opposite, but look. Mo Xiaobai. Lu Fan took the lead in calling out her name. The girl was stunned and seemed to think. Of Lu Fan. She said with a smile. Was the wine good that night? It's delicious. My name is Lu Fan. Lu Fan subconsciously said, and suddenly felt a bit impolite. You say, you are Lu Fan? Mo Xiaobai was stunned, then blinked his big eyes and asked, Bacchus, Lu Fan? Dionysus? Lu Fan repeated in a low voice and immediately said with a smile, They are all nicknames. I just have a little research on wine. Bartender. Mo Xiaobai's eyes showed a look of interest and the corners of his mouth chuckled. Lu Fan took a deep breath and nodded. Let's go down together. Mo Xiaobai said to Lu Fan with a few bags of garbage.